Mm-hmm.
And you supported Bernie, although
Right.
Bernie ran on the inside as a Democrat.
Right.
And you supported Ralph Nader, who ran on the outside. So I don't want
Right.
to color this question much more. I'm sure I have some follow-ups. But talk to
Mm-hmm.
me about voting for a third-party candidate, Cornel West or beyond, in this particular election. Talk about that.
Right. Well, Cornell is my good friend and comrade and good brother too.
Sure.
And I will not criticize his the moral calculus that led him to the determination to run as a third-party candidate. Right. It's not simply a matter of his having the right to do it, but I respect him. We just disagree on our readings of the pragmatic imperatives of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't spoken with Cornell about this since things began to heat up. Frankly, I haven't spoken with him since he declared
Mm-hmm.
his candidacy.
Sure.
And but my reading is that this is, as I've said, that this is one of those elections where the distinctions between the not very appealing and the horrible are so great that the not very appealing looks like a superstar by comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If Cornel West were here, and I can say this because he's my friend and brother as he is yours, and I've talked to him many times, of course, during the course of the campaign. As I said, he's been a guest on this program a few times already. If he were here, and he might not say this given who he is, but I know what he's thinking. So let me just put it that way. If he were here, he would say that his running is in some ways, Adolph Reed, you'll appreciate this, an act of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
And I say an act of desperation because he understands what you understand, that there is no real progressive in this race. Nobody is really going to speak truth to power and to the powerless. By your own admission, we got a contest of two evils that nobody really wants. Again, nobody wants this rematch. Dr. West sees his campaign as an act of desperation because somebody ought to be on the ballot, giving everyday people a choice of somebody who is more progressive, somebody who's going to speak the truth to the powerful and to the powerless. So in that regard, critique Cornel West's campaign.
Well, look, no, I mean, I agree. I accept his perspective and his sensibility about this, and to a large extent, I agree with it.
Right.
For him to want to register an objection to the entire thing is not unreasonable as far as that goes, right? And I'll distinguish that from some of the other candidacies.
Right. I got it.
But I just come back to the same point. And this is a phrase that feels kind of odd coming out of my mouth, kind of like in the same way that that it feels when you first say something to your child that you heard your parents say, like, "Oh, so you want to cry, D? I'll give you something to cry about."
Yeah.
But because so many people have, because I've been on the receiving end of this phrase so much and in so many different contexts in my life, going back to my adolescence. But now is not the time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right. I mean, I made this point, and I tried to get this across, like in that column too. I mean, I've been a supporter of the Palestinian right to self-determination since before the June War in 1967, and the horrors that the IDF is perpetrating in Gaza now, I can't describe how repugnant what they're doing is, and the fact that the U.S. government is backing the Israeli government and the IDF to the hilt is horrendous. What I did just notice this morning that Canada is cutting off arms aid to Israel now after this latest hospital attack.
Yes, I saw that.
But the thing that I wanted to stress to people, and I make this point in the column too, is that the Republicans would be worse than the Democrats are. And how do we know that? Because they've told us. They tell us every day that they would finish the genocide, right? Jared Kushner, who I just mentioned to some friends in an email, is along with Cliff Kingsbury and a couple other people I think about of the best living examples for the continuing need for affirmative action because he's a white guy who's fallen up all his life because of his connection.
Yeah.
But Kushner just called for leveling the Negev desert, forcibly transporting all of the Palestinians to the desert, and developing the Gaza coastline as a beachfront property.
Nope, I saw that.
But it's not just that clown. It's like and Trump, but Nancy Mace, what all the rest of them you can think of, right? So they've when Lindsey Graham, I mean, they've made clear that they would be more ruthless and bloodthirsty.
Let me. Mm-hmm. No, I hear your point. Let me cut it right quick. I'm up against the clock here. For those who didn't see those Jared Kushner comments that Adolph Reed, Professor Reed mentions now, you should look them up. He basically said what Adolph Reed just laid out, that land is valuable. That's his phrase, that land is valuable, and that Israel ought to wipe it out, move those people out of the way, clear all that out, and develop it as beachfront property. It's valuable property. That's what Jared Kushner said in the midst of a war where people are being slaughtered every day. Those were Jared Kushner's comments, and Adolph Reed is right, I think, to call him a clown. When we come forward, there are a number of other things I want to ask Adolph Reed. I really haven't gotten to ask him yet. What is about Joe Biden that makes him not such a fan? I hear his point about Biden being better than Trump. I think we all get that. But I'm curious to interrogate why he's not such a fan of Joe Biden. And you heard him say earlier that he supported Bernie Sanders back in the day. And I wonder what he makes of the fact that Bernie and other progressives like AOC came out so quickly to endorse Joe Biden. They didn't give anybody a chance to get in the race. They endorsed Biden immediately. We'll talk about that and a great deal more with Adolph Reed on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The on-again, off-again court block of a Texas law that allows state and local police to arrest suspected illegal immigrants is on again. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on Tuesday that Texas can enforce the new law, but a few hours later, a panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals temporarily blocked it again. The Biden administration claims the law tramples on the federal government's exclusive authority to oversee immigration issues. Efforts to get U.S. citizens out of Haiti continues today, with at least one state official in Florida saying there's reason for optimism. 2 rescue flights from Haiti were supposed to leave yesterday, but plans fell through. The Florida Division of Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie says they were close, but the situation on the ground is extremely volatile. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Unleash your style in 2024 at FS Cut and Color. Get a fabulous cut and color duo from one of their expert stylists at unbeatable prices. Only at Fantastic Sam's, where hair care meets affordability. Visit FantasticSams.com to find one of their 60 SoCal salons near you. Can your roof handle extreme weather? If you have leaks or a roof that is 20 years old or more, go to localroofs.com to schedule a free roof checkup and estimate. Get a new roof for as low as $198 per month on approved credit. Restrictions apply. Go to localroofs.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A tough day for alumni at Howard University. The Howard men's basketball team lost to Wagner by 3 in Tuesday's play-in game in the NCAA tournament in Dayton, Ohio. Howard had 3 attempts to knock down a game-tying three-pointer in the final 10 seconds, but missed all 3 shots. Howard ends the season at 18-17. Wagner moves on to play North Carolina Thursday in Charlotte. North Carolina is the #1 seed in the East Regional. The other HBCU school in the NCAA tournament is Grambling. The Tigers play Montana State today in a Midwest Regional play-in game in Dayton, 3:40 p.m. tip-off on True TV. It's a special day for Grambling and their alumni around the country. This is the first NCAA tournament game for Grambling in school history. The Clippers are back in action tonight at Portland. The Lakers are off until Friday's home game against Philadelphia. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. By any other name, we demand environmental justice in 2024 and beyond. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. What happens on Tavis Smiley is the talk of the town. You can now tune in to the Tavis Smiley Show weekdays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Catch Tavis Smiley on the 9s weekdays exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Adolph Reed Jr., UPenn Political Science Professor Emeritus, one of the nation's most brilliant public intellectuals, has a piece out that he wrote for The Nation magazine called Why I'm Voting for the Enemy, and we are unpacking that in this hour. There are a few things I want to come straight to, starting with this, Professor Reed, and that is how you process that Bernie Sanders, who you supported in years past, and other progressives like AOC came out so quickly to endorse Joe Biden.
Right. Well, no, I mean, that's an interesting question, and I think addressing it helps to shed some light also on the way I think the politics works. I mean, Bernie, it's no accident, as the old saw goes, that Bernie resisted calls to run as a third-party candidate, both in 2016 and in 2020. And after having lost the nomination, and I think in both both cases he was jobbed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But having lost the nomination, Senator Sanders' main focus has always been on trying to win victories that improve the lives of working people in this country. And he has this position in the Senate that is a good power base for him to pursue those objectives. But also, he understands that politics is in some ways a team game. And I mean, he's shown that he's capable of making trade-offs and compromises along the way to be able to accomplish the objectives he's trying to pursue. Now, of course, those efforts don't always pay off because they never do in life, but you don't ever know, right, how things are going to turn out. So I wasn't disturbed that he, or surprised even, that he threw his support to the party's nominee both times, and that he came out so quickly to endorse Biden this time around.
So
I don't have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll finish your part. You don't have what now?
Well, I don't have the same kind of sense of Senator, or rather of AOC that I have of Senator Sanders, and I don't have the same feel for what her politics ultimately are. I mean, she's always struck me as more of a mainstream Democrat than Bernie. So she's just doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, look, a third party candidate is not going to win, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the game. I mean, what the Democratic Party or mainstream Democrats kept the nomination away from Bernie Sanders, right? I mean, and God knows what all would happen in November. And what makes the third party candidacies so much a matter for concern in a year like this is that if as all the speculation is going now, the margin of victory in this election turns out to be as razor thin as people think it is, then every vote that could have gone to the Democrat that goes to somebody else is in effect like a vote for Trump. Right?
But you do understand. You're the brilliant Adolph Reed, and I say that respectfully, not snarkily, not snarkily. You do.
I got you. Okay.
But you do realize by that logic that a third party candidate would never get off the ground. If the argument is that a third party candidate is going to pull votes from somebody else, like these votes belong to them in the first place, they do not.
Right.
The votes don't belong to them. So if the argument is that a third party candidate is going to pull votes from somebody else, then by your logic, there will never be an election where a third party candidate makes sense, even though you supported Bernie.
Yeah. Well, I didn't support Bernie as a third-party
That's
candidate.
correct. That is correct.
Bernie didn't run as a third-party
That's
candidate.
correct.
So that's an important distinction.
That's correct.
But I'm glad you make that point, too, Tavis, because I've heard people like Brianna Joy Gray make that argument.
Sure.
And the fact is, third-party candidates don't get off the ground. And they don't get off the ground, and it's not surprising that they don't get off the ground. I was on a panel with Jill Stein.
Sure.
Around the 10th anniversary of Katrina.
The Green Party. Jill Stein, by the way, is the Green Party candidate this time around. Go ahead.
Right.
Yep.
And I had just kind of signed up to work with the Labor for Bernie
right
stuff. And I said to her, on this panel, she said something that prompted me to say, without even thinking about it, well, it sounds like what you're saying is that all you need is like a good program,
right?
And people will just come to it. And she said, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I decided then she was an idiot, because that's not the way that politics works, right? Like, you need to have resources, you need to have capacity, right? You need to have troops on the ground. You need to form.
But let me push back. I didn't mean to cut you off. But let me push back though.
Oh, sure.
Everything you're saying, Professor Reed, is correct, and I'll try another argument. Again, when you're debating Adolph Reed, you got to come with it. So I'm going to try it again. There is a distinct difference to my mind between winning and witnessing. Winning and witnessing are not the same thing. Jesus was a witness. Ultimately, he was the winner for those of us who believe in Jesus. But the point was about the witness. And I can tell you there have been any number of times in my life where I tried to find the courage to speak the truth that I knew, to say what it is that I saw. I didn't always win, but I felt good about my witness. And so it can't just be about winning. What about the witness?
Well, I am with you on that, right? I mean, like I said, that's how I feel about Cornell's candidacy.
Right.
Right. At the same time, I think that there's a time for witness and there's a time for acting strategically.
Okay.
Right. And I keep coming back to this. Like, we are basically sweeping through the alarm one day away from a fascist takeover in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to I won't say anything about the witness stuff at this point. But to me, the number one objective, right, the most important objective at this moment
is to stop Trump.
Everybody
It's to stop Trump.
Who wants a better world is to stop Trump and to do whatever else has to happen to defeat this fascist groundswell.
All right, fair enough. I received that argument, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't even disagree with you, but I just wanted to just press you on that, obviously, since we're having an intellectual exchange here. So when we come forward, speaking of intellectual exchange, here's what I want to ask you. So just brace yourself for this question, Professor Reed. I know you can handle it, but just brace yourself. So maybe the answer, I'm just posing a question here that Adolph Reed is going to address when we come forward. Maybe the answer this time around is to stay home. Maybe the answer is to let Donald Trump win. Why do I make that argument? Because how will true progressives ever be able to hold Democrats accountable if every time we push a progressive agenda, every time there's a third-party candidate like Cornel West, they shut us down with this argument, but the other guy represents an existential threat to this democracy? How will progressives ever have an opportunity to truly hold this Democratic Party accountable? How will we ever push them to the left if every time we pop our heads up as progressives, they cut us down and say, now is not the time? Adolph Reed responds when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing." You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer.
Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Taco Bell just dropped the new Cravings Value Menu. Now you can get 10 items for $3 or less, which means you can get the food you want for the price you want. It's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it's a double-stacked taco from the new Cravings Value Menu. So basically, you can have your double-stacked taco and eat it too, which is a lot crunchier than cake. The new Cravings Value Menu is here. Get it at Taco Bell today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for price and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Don't shave with that, son. You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette's Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard anyway? You know Mama hates it.
Yeah, had it since my last wet shave in '77. Got ingrown so bad, looked like I was growing a patch of new noses.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturize, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Adolph Reed, how do true progressives, given your analysis, then ever challenge, push, check Democrats who always take progressives for granted? I ask, if not now, then when, sir?
Right. Well, let me start out by noting that, I spent a good 15 years or more, almost all of the 90s and more than half of the first decade of the 21st century, as part of an effort of trying to build an independent political party rooted in the trade union movement and the working class, the Labor Party. And what we kept getting from the leadership of the AFL-CIO all the time was, yeah, it's a good idea, but now is not the time, now is not the time. Right? So, I understand that concern, but I think there are two problems, and this is something else that I mentioned in the column. One is, the routine that we have now is every 4 years around this time or a little sooner, progressives look up and find that there are no appropriately attractive options on offer from the Democratic Party, and then start to muse about running somebody. Well, by that point, it's too late, right? Right, because you have to have the institutional capacity to make the move. And I don't think I said this in the column, but one of my mantras is that the electoral realm is the domain for institutionalizing victories that have been won on the plane of social movement organizing. That is, turning those victories into law, policy,
That's
and
rich.
offices.
That's rich, Adolph Reed. That's rich, man, yeah.
And that's what we fail to do, right? Right. That's where the real failure of progressives is, and it's one of the limitations of politics, frankly, that reduces to nothing more than bearing witness. I'm not opposed to bearing witness. We all do it. But insofar as what's happened with progressives in this country is that bearing witness has become the whole point of politics. Well, there's something kind of narcissistic about that, and self-serving in a way that we associate with a certain kind of liberals from going back to the day, right? It's all about making oneself feel good, right? And what we've lost is that if you want to be in a position to make the real challenge, then you got to do that hard organizing work.
Nope, I hear you. Adolph Reed's on fire today, y'all. He's on fire. He always is. But he's particularly and especially on fire today. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Adolph Reed, perhaps the penultimate question, which is this. What his issue is with Joe Biden, but more to the point, why he's voting for Joe Biden anyway. You heard him say earlier, we got to look beyond the candidates. That's a strange phrase. It's an election, and Adolph Reed is telling us to look beyond the two candidates. I get it. But what's his issue with Joe Biden? And again, ultimately, why is he voting for Joe Biden anyway? That's how we'll close when we come forward with Adolph Reed on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like free.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
Adolph Reed's piece in The Nation is called Why I'm Voting for the Enemy. He has encouraged us in this hour, and perhaps rightly so, to look beyond the two combatants. So, again, we know nobody wants this rematch except the two guys in the ring. And yet he's saying look beyond the two candidates because one is far worse than the other. One is an absolute threat to this experiment in democracy. I always call it that because we have a Madisonian framework, but we ain't quite a democracy yet. I digress on that point. So tell me what it is about Joe Biden that troubles you in the 3 minutes I have left. I give it all to you, Adolph Reed, in 3 minutes. What is it about Joe Biden that so troubles you, and why are you voting for him over the other guy anyway?
Well, thank you. And before I give the money shot, let me urge or suggest, I'm going to drop a dime, that it might be interesting for us to have a discussion at some point of A. Philip Randolph and Bayard Rustin's Freedom Budget for All Americans as a way for us to think about politics.
I accept.
And also on that light, I just sent you a link to an essay that I wrote about the Obama's film on Rustin that I think you might find interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'll close. I'll close Ferenz on that. Where to start with Biden? Well, first, two words: Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Biden is centrally responsible for Clarence Thomas being given his lifetime seat on the Supreme Court. Crime bill. Right. I mean that too.
Yep.
And his approach to what he called bipartisanship, which meant catering to Strom Thurmond and all kind of people like that. His fealty to Wall Street, his persistence in pursuit of a bellicose and a dangerous imperialist foreign policy, like the trumped-up proxy war that they're doing in Ukraine now, and as well as the ongoing support for Israel and IDF to prosecute the genocide or its genocidal attacks on Gaza. And I will say, too, that it's especially galling how he tells us, or he leaks to us, that he's trying to jack Netanyahu up quietly on the down low while he's still sending him weapons, right? I mean, that's like, I hope I can say this on the air, but that's like, don't pee in my face and tell me it's raining, basically. So, I mean, that's all that, right? He's a corporate Democrat. But, in 2016, I wrote an essay in Common Dreams called "Vote for the Lying Neoliberal Warmonger, It's Important," which was a play on a slogan from the 1991 gubernatorial race in Louisiana, where the crook and three-time Governor Edwin Edwards was running against the Klansman, David Duke.
I remember this,
And the slogan was, "I'm vote for the crook, it's important." Well, and I mean, that was true in 2016, and it's even more true in 2020, right? Because, again, you take Trump's picture off the race and look at the forces that have condensed around him. And it's the most dangerous tendency that we've seen in this country probably in my lifetime, and I'm 77 years old.
I receive it. I guess the moral of the story is vote for the older guy. It's important. Vote for the older guy.
No, totally.
Yeah, it's important.
And I would also say your vote is not your chastity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have to guard it for moral principles. Most of the time that most of us have voted, we voted for the lesser evil. I'm
out of time. I told you that he can turn a phrase. Your vote is not your chastity. That line will work. Your vote is not your chastity. Only Adolph Reed can come that way. Adolph L. Reed Jr., UPenn, political science professor emeritus. His piece is called "Why I'm Voting for the Enemy." It's in The Nation magazine. Adolph Reed, appreciate you, man. Talk to you soon, my brother. All the best to you.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. Same to you.
Stay strong. More Tavis, Smiley, when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica,